Hi, everybody. This is Celeste at Treating Trauma with Yoga. And this is Sam. And he's my emotional support dog. And actually, he is. And I love him very much. Um, and we're here today to talk to you about something called soft belly breathing, along with a couple of other things. That is where we're headed, though, is soft belly breathing, because soft belly breathing can help to to refocus the mind and also to shift anxiety into a place of more calm and relaxation. It is a great practice for just uh, recentering if you need to do that, if you've had a stressful day or a difficult phone conversation or hit a lot of traffic. You can do this practice while you're driving. It's not meditation, it's breath. So you can still be focused on the world and breathe. Um, so we're going to talk about soft belly breathing, and we're going to talk about um, the difference between meditation and running. And I know that sounds like a silly thing, but as someone who used to run on a regular basis and used to say that running was my meditation, I understand where that comes from a personal place. And I had a conversation this past week with a woman who is a nurse who who was talking about exactly that, was talking about how running is kind of meditation for her. And I want to talk about that a little bit. And I also want to tell you what's happening in my life because things are moving along. Um, and so I'm going to start, I think, with um, talking about running because it was an interesting conversation. We were talking originally because she is a nurse that I work with personally, and I won't go into names or places or anything else. But she works with not she works as a nurse for me personally, and so she was asking me how it is that I got into doing what it is that I do, working with people with trauma using yoga. And I explained to her that I used to be a runner and I stopped running when my list of chronic pain and other issues escalated to the point where I couldn't run anymore. And I started doing yoga at home, thinking I was going to switch from this to that because I knew what to do, of course. I thought I did. I hadn't ever, I hadn't taken any classes in many years, but I thought I knew what to do. And I kept getting hurt. I kept getting injured. So one of the things I want to say is that if you think you know what you're doing and you keep getting hurt doing yoga, sometimes we need help. In my case, a lot of my issue was my ego because I was used to being very flexible and very strong. And all of a sudden, I wasn't very flexible. Well, I was flexible still, but I wasn't very strong. And so I didn't have the support for that flexibility. And that became a problem. That became a problem in my low back. I kept injuring my low back when I was doing yoga because I didn't have the core strength to support what it was that I was doing. What happened for me as a result of the trauma that I experienced both as a child and as an adult is that my body went through kind of the cascade syndrome. It's like things started going wrong, and then other things went wrong, and then other things went wrong, and then other things went wrong. Um, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, chronic myofascial pain, IBS, um, ultimately insulin resistance. It wasn't easy. Everything hurt. My whole body hurt. Chronic pain is frequently caused uh, by trauma, and we don't even realize that they're connected. I read something not too long ago, that really turned on the light for me, which is that the same areas of the body, the same nerves, the same functions within the body handle both physical pain, as in I burned my finger, ouch, or fell on my knee, ouch, and emotional pain, right? Chronic trauma. So same signal pathways in the body. So we use those same pathways, those same neural networks for both physical and emotional pain. And that's a thing that I don't think a lot of people recognize. And it's an issue because when we overstimulate those neural networks, we eventually come to the point where they're stimulated, and they break down, right? The systems start to break down. The endocrine system is delicate, and it is an area that gets affected by physical issues and also by emotional issues. And so we have that threshold that we can tolerate, and then all of a sudden things just go sideways and it doesn't work anymore. And a lot of things begin to stop working anymore. And it is overwhelming and scary when that happens. What I want to say is that there's a way through. I think yoga was the best thing that I could do for myself. It wasn't me, however, doing it for what I was doing wasn't the solution. What ended up being the solution, and fortunately I'd been around 12-step rooms at that point long enough that I had a little bit of wisdom about some things. Like, you can try something over and over again, and if you continue to get the same results, maybe you need to try something else, right? And so I was getting the same results. I was getting back pain from doing what I was doing, and I thought, maybe I don't have my own answers here. Maybe I need to get help. So I went to a studio, and I walked into a gentle class, got there a little early, met with the instructor, who was a wonderful man who I still think the world of, who said to me, when I came in, asked me about me and my physical health. And I proceeded to tell him all of the things that were wrong and tell him what I couldn't do. I couldn't do back bends. I couldn't do inversions. I couldn't do this. I couldn't do that. And his one word to me was, yet. You can't do it yet. That was the best thing he could have said, because it taught me something in that moment, which was that I had written my script, and my script was a closed end. It said, there isn't any, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. What he was saying was, you can't do it right now, but that doesn't mean you won't be able to do it forever. And I will tell you that I do inversions on a daily basis. I do back bends regularly. I'm not going to tell you I go into full wheel every day. I don't, but I can do it. I can also do handstands, and I'm 63 years old. So what I'm going to tell you is that it is fixable. All right. I'm not saying that everything is fixable, and that, doesn't matter what's happened to you. You can go to you can totally resolve every single issue and be like you were 20. That's not what I'm going to say. But what I am going to say is, don't paint yourself into a corner. When I was running, before I started in yoga, I believed that running was my meditation. And I would say that to people. I zone out when I'm running. What I understand today is that zoning out is not meditating. Neither is focusing on a particular thing that I want to think through. And that was actually what this nurse practitioner said to me was, well, when I'm running, because I told her this story about me, and she said, when I run, she said, I really feel like I do. It is my meditation. And I said, tell me about that. And she said, well, when I'm running, it really seems like I can focus on a problem and really spend time, thinking about this thing, whatever it is that I need to think about. And I just looked at her and I said, thinking and working through problems is not meditation. And she sat back and she was like, you know what? You're right. You're absolutely right. It's not. And I need to look at that more. I need to start paying attention to what it is, um, that I need from a standpoint of self-care. And I was really happy to hear that, because she's somebody that also apparently has some trauma history. She acknowledged that. I don't know what it is. It's not my business. But the point is, she understands it as a medical professional and also as one of us. So it was an interesting conversation. But I wanted to say, I guess, here, because I see that there may be a lot of people that look at running as a way to zone out. Yeah, I considered it a way to zone out, but zoning out is not meditation either. Um, and so it's like finding what works for you that is actually a meditative experience. And a lot of people have different ways in. You can meditate to a guided meditation. You can meditate um, to music. You can meditate lying down. You can meditate sitting up and closing your eyes. You can take a walking meditation. You can look at a picture or a yantra, which is a beautiful Indian design that has a center point that you focus your way into as you go from the outside in. Um, the idea is to separate your awareness from your thoughts, because the thoughts will always take us out of our meditation. So it's finding that single pointed focus, or that um, the repetition of a mantra, or the sound of someone else's voice, or whatever, that takes us into a place where we can just be present without being constantly distracted by the thoughts that run through our mind. There's a saying in yoga about two different perceptions of mind. One is what they call the monkey mind, which is jumping up and down and going from this to that and this to that and this to that. And if you have trauma history, that's probably something that you're familiar with, because we have a tendency to do that a lot, especially when we get anxious. And the other part of the mind, which is the wisdom mind, which is that part of us that can be quiet and can be focused and be present and aware without jumping from one thing to another. Can we just be aware and present? It can be challenging when you're new to meditation. It gets easier the more that you do. So anyway, so that was that little piece, because it was interesting to me that someone who was in the medical profession, a nurse practitioner, who had trauma history, would still look at running as being a way to check out, right? And that checking out was exactly, or being able to think a problem through was something that was her meditation. And it was like, yeah. So anyway, so that what I suggested to her is what we're going to talk about now, which is soft belly breathing. Soft belly breathing starts with noticing what it feels like when you inhale and what it feels like when you exhale. So as you inhale and take a deep breath in, with your hands, one on your chest and one on your belly, breathe in and then exhale. Inhaling through your nose and then exhale through your mouth. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. And notice as you do this, what sensation happens in your belly and your chest as you inhale. What are you feeling? Do you feel your hands moving outward? Do you feel your belly and your chest expanding? Or do you feel the belly and the chest, or the belly or the chest compressing as you inhale and maybe relaxing as you exhale? Just notice how you breathe. If you're breathing in and holding your belly in and breathing out and letting the belly go, that's called reverse breathing. And in fact, if you are reverse breathing, you're not getting a full deep breath. And so I will first encourage you to learn how to shift the way that you breathe. Your diaphragm, which is a piece of tissue that's shaped roughly like a dome, that moves up and moves down in your middle abdomen area. What happens is as you inhale, the diaphragm moves down, which allows your lungs to expand with air. And as you exhale, the diaphragm moves up so that your lungs can compress and that the air can be pushed up and out through your mouth or through your nose, right? So if you are contracting your belly, you're actually keeping the diaphragm in place. So it can't move very far, which means that you can't get a full deep breath in. It also means that you might not be able to exhale all of that air out, which is a whole nother issue. If you don't exhale completely, you can't get fresh air in. There's no room. And if you sometimes feel like you can't get a full breath, this could be part of the problem. A lot of people who have trauma history do, in fact, have an issue with reverse breathing. If you want more information on reverse breathing, please contact me on my website, and I will be happy to send you more info on that. The other thing that I wanted to talk about with breathing, as I said, is soft belly. So with your hand just resting on your belly, now that we know that we inhale and the belly expands, and we exhale and the belly contracts, or that's where we're aiming for anyway. We're going to inhale and exhale. Inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. We're going to do this for about 10 minutes, and I'm going to set a timer on my phone. I have a program that I like a lot. You can use this one or anything else you want. This is called Insight Timer. You can get a paid version or a free version, and either version gives you a timer. And you can time your meditations. They also have meditation courses and meditation teachers that have meditations that they've recorded that are on here. There's lots, and there's community. There's a lot of stuff going on Insight Timer. If you're interested, you can take as much as you want and leave the rest. So we're going to start now with this breath practice with your hand on your belly. It doesn't matter which hand you use. And I'm going to set the timer for 10 minutes. We're going to begin. Inhale into the palm of your hand, and as you exhale through your mouth, feel the belly contract. Breathing into your hand, releasing the breath through your mouth. Let it go. Soft belly. And you can use that intention as you inhale and exhale. Breathing in soft, breathing out belly. Soft belly. One more minute. Release your hands down into your lap. Allow your eyes to continue to be gently closed and relaxed, or soft and open as you choose. Take a moment to notice what's happening now in your body, your thoughts, your emotional awareness, your spiritual awareness. Becoming present with what's happening right now for you. So I'll tell you a story, which I was debating whether to tell you this story. So apparently there was a glitch in the original recording. And if you saw the live, you only saw that portion of it. It was about 19 minutes, 20 minutes. And this last half, including the ending of the 10 minutes of belly breathing, soft belly breathing, was not recorded. So I went back, put on the same shirt to do it again, this part. So you've got this whole thing now together, hopefully as close to the original setting as possible. And so if you notice that there is a difference, now you know why. Because circumstances beyond my control happened. And you know what? Circumstances beyond my control happen on a regular basis. The gift is that things like soft belly breathing keep me regulated. This happened, I got it back from the wonderful woman who does my editing, and it was missing this part, which I thought I had recorded. And I called her and I went, hey, what happened to this? She goes, I know, that seemed like a really weird place to end it. And I was like, I was not supposed to be the end. So I don't know what happened to it, but it went away. And now it's going to be, by the magic of a video, it's going to be back. Okay. Anyway, so that's soft belly breath. I recommend it on a daily basis. I do it every day. I try to do it more than once a day. I do it in the morning as part of my daily practice. But when life happens and things start to get crazy, because life inevitably happens and things inevitably start to go crazy a little bit in my life, I have tools like this that help bring me back down to center. So having this happen today, and this is like a couple days since the day that I recorded that original portion of the video, and I was like, oh, okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to watch the video and then I'm going to approve it. And then I'm going to go on and I'm going to do this thing that I have to do and that thing that I have to do and this thing that I have to do and that thing that I have to do. And then I'm done. And then I had to do this. And I was like, oh, I really don't want to do this. And I thought, I really do, because guess what? I get 10 minutes of soft belly breathing before I have to do anything else. Yay. Okay, so I had that. And now I get to tell you the rest of the story. The rest of the story, the last thing that I wanted to tell you on this video is that the reason you haven't heard from me a lot lately is because I am in the middle of moving. It wasn't my idea to move right now, but my landlord had other plans. He's selling the house that I'm living in, and I got 60 days notice. So I have to move. And so I'm in the process of packing and selling and sorting and discarding and putting in storage and all those things. And where I am moving temporarily is to a good friend of mine's home for a couple of weeks after I leave here. And then I will be moving to Panama. That's my ultimate destination. And I am looking forward to that move. It's been something that I've been planning for some time, or planning for some time, not the date exactly. But it showed up this way. I got my notice, I got 60 days notice. I need to be out of here January 15th. And then I have 2 weeks from then, February 2nd, I will be going to Panama. My plan is to continue absolutely everything that I'm doing from there because I have high-speed internet. I already have the location that I'm going to be living. Everything is set up, and my plan is to keep treating trauma with yoga and yoga Tarana online and working, and doing everything that I have been doing, except hopefully a little bit more consistently. I hope you will bear with me during the move. The reality is I am sometimes incapable of doing one of these videos during the time frame that I initially intended to be doing them so that they would be out on Fridays. And that is just because life is overwhelming right now. And I hope you will understand and stick with me because I'm going to continue to do this. They're not going to always come out on time. They may not always be as long as they might have been otherwise, but they will be there. And I will continue to do the work, and I will continue to give you good content. And I will take this to Panama, where I really hope that ultimately what I can create, when allowed by COVID-19 and health conditions and regulations and everything else, and the world gets back to someplace hopefully semi-normal, I would like to start doing trauma recovery retreats in Panama. There's a beautiful retreat center there in the community where I'm going to be living that is perfect. And when I was there in February and March, right before COVID-19 lockdown started, I had spoken with the woman who owns the retreat center, and she was very excited about hosting us and having us there. And then everything happened. So once I get back there, we're going to have a conversation and we're going to see what we can plan for the future. So there's 2 things I have on my agenda for retreats. One is trauma recovery, yoga for trauma, treating trauma with yoga recovery retreats, which will be for all of this community to gather. It will be small groups. That's the plan, and probably maximum of 12 people, I think, is probably the maximum there for membership. I like that because it allows us to get to know each other well and create an intimate cohort of people that are working in this intention of healing. So that's the plan for that. The other plan is a wounded healers retreat. And that's for people who work in healing professions, whether that's yoga therapy, whether that's physical therapy, nursing, doctors, therapists, EMTs, firefighters, police officers, anyone else that works with helping others that likely have their own trauma history that they would like to overcome. We're going to work with that in the Wounded Healers Retreat. I will give you more details as I have them, but those are 2 things that are on my to-do list. They're on my plate. They're on my intention list, and have been for this past year. But things happen, and we get things done as soon as we can. But it's a plan, and I will give you a tour of the retreat center. I'm pretty sure I can do that because it's gorgeous and I'm sure she would love to show it off. I will tell you there is a yoga deck in the middle of a butterfly sanctuary there. It is gorgeous, absolutely stupendous. The grounds are beautiful. It is on sacred land, and that's also awesome. They have their own gardens and their own produce, so everything will be fresh. There's an external, outside, what I would call a great room, which includes a dining area, a living room, and a very large open kitchen where we can bring in our own chef to cook our meals. And I already kind of know who I want, so that. But it should be fun, and I'm really excited about being able to do this. I'm really excited about moving to Panama. And life is really in session right now for me. So I am doing soft belly breathing as often as I can. I will recommend to you soft belly breathing if you're in intense, focused, life is in session time like I am right now. I should be doing this once an hour. I should set an alarm on my phone. I just told somebody else to do that today. So I'm telling you that I'm also planning on doing this for me. I'm going to set an alarm on my phone once an hour. 5 minutes soft belly breathing, just to let yourself center and focus. Life is crazy right now, but it doesn't have to be completely crazy. We have choices and we have tools. If we pick them up, we will be happier, and those that we love will be happier with us. So bring your hands to your heart for a moment. Take a full deep breath in. And exhale completely. Bring your hands to your forehead for clear thoughts, to your lips for a clear voice, and to your heart for clear intentions. Namaste. Remember that you can find me here live on Facebook, here live on Instagram, here live on YouTube. Yay, because all these videos will be all of those places. I also have a private Facebook group called Treating Trauma with Yoga, as well as the page, as well as the Instagram page, as well as a website, which is called Treating Trauma with Yoga. And if you go to my website, you'll find lots of things, including quick fix practices for re-regulation, tools that you can use to help yourself get through the crazy times, along with lots of other information and articles and stories by me, and hopefully some from other people. I'm waiting for some content, some guest content right now. I'm looking forward to putting that up as well. And if you need to get in touch with me, all of those places have ways of getting in touch with me. And my website also, you can just click on the Contact Celeste link and get me there. My email is celeste@treatingtraumawithyoga.com. Please get in touch. Thank you so much.